What is up, my friends? You are very welcome back to our player ratings here on Anfield Agenda after Liverpool beat Brentford by 3-0, a result that puts us right up within striking distance at the top of the Premier League. We have just finished the watch along on top of the league of the game between Chelsea and Manchester City, which finished 4-4, meaning we are 1 point away from City, and of course Liverpool's next game is at the Etihad after the international break. So I'm going to fly through and give the guys a score out of 10 today, asking you guys as always to let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree or disagree? Again, I want to apologise for the fact this is going up late. It's after 7 o'clock, but we were on the watch along on top of the league, and I hope you guys joined us for that one. So look, again, want to know your thoughts in the comment section. This is how we do it. I go through the players and the subs, give them a score out of 10, and we ask you guys to play along. We're closing right in on 227,000 subscribers. In fact, we're 5 away. So if you are watching this and you haven't subscribed, please do. Let's start off with Alisson Becker today, and it could be easy for me to say we won the game 3-0 and Alisson didn't have much to do, but that would be incorrect. Alisson had a couple of big saves to make. One in the first half where there was a one-on-one, he got a hand to it, Trent got back around the clear there. In the second half, a bullet header that he saved as well. So going to give the big man a very well-deserved score of 8 out of 10 today. Again, I say it week after week, he is the best goalkeeper in the world, bar none. It's a fact. Moving on now to Mr. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I thought he was really good today. Made so many good passes. We weren't even overrunning in defence. It was a beautiful day, my friends. And Trent was part of that beautiful day. And I still don't know where I'm at about his future. Do I want him in midfield? Do I want him at right back? But he impacted the game today in a positive way. He looks assured in this role the club has him in. And I'm going to give him a score of 8 out of 10. And I think you'll agree with me. It is very well deserved. Now, Joel Matip, the only man ever to be booked for winning a tackle, because that booking was nonsense. Not only was it not a foul, it definitely was not a yellow card. So I don't understand how he was given one. But he managed to see his way through the game. Calm, reassured, great performance yet again from Joel, underlining his credentials as just Mr. Dependable when called upon. So like Trent, like Alisson, Joel is going to get a score of 8 out of 10 today. Very, very good indeed. Now we move on to El Capitan, Mr. Virgil van Dijk. Is he back to his best? Are we seeing the Virgil van Dijk of a few years ago? I'll tell you what, if he's not, he's very close to it. The word I'm going to use today, the word of the day for Virg is imperious, my friends. Phenomenal. Defending, aerial challenges, leadership. Today he had it all, including some really well-timed challenges as well. I think it was when Buemo was through left side of the penalty area. Virg jockeyed him, got back and timed his foot in beautifully. Virgil van Dijk, today was my man of the match. You guys voted for Salah. I respect it. He was my personal man of the match, so I'm giving him a score of 9 out of 10. Brilliant from our captain. Mr. Kostas Tsimikas, who came in for lots of criticism, and deservedly so, over his recent performances, but today, much better. I recognise this version of Kostas, the attacking, marauding fullback who was getting in crosses. Couple of assists as well today, which did not go unnoticed. And thank you for that, Kostas. I'm sure it will be a big relief to him as well. And that will fill him full of confidence as we move towards that Manchester City game. So Kostas today gets a score of 8 out of 10. And I think it's very well deserved. Moving into midfield now, Wataru Endo. Now, you're probably expecting me to come on here and shower him in praise, right? I'm going to go with a comment that came in earlier on today from somebody in our chat that said he got a little bit lucky today. And I think that's about right. I don't think he was particularly fantastic in his role today. He was certainly better than he was midweek. But there's still some worrying aspects of his game for me. Lots of niggly little fouls. I don't mind him stopping counter-attacks, but he just feels like a red card waiting to happen. I don't know if he's still getting used to the speed of the game in England, but I thought it was better from Endo today, but not as good as some are making out. Not for me anyway. So I'm going to give Endo a score of 7 out of 10 today. It's still a good score, but not as high as some of the others. Moving on to Mr. Dominic Szoboszlai. Again, far more recognisable version of Dom. I still think he's a bit loose in possession at times. Lots of balls bouncing up into the air and stuff, but ultimately the energy was there. And when he has the energy levels that he has, he's just everywhere. He is just a machine. And somebody asked me earlier on, has he got 2 sets of lungs? I don't know where he gets the energy from, but he's absolutely tremendous. I thought he was really good today. I'm going to give him a score of 8 out of 10. Not his best display in a Liverpool shirt, but way, way, way better than the last couple of games. So thank you for that, Mr. Soboslai. Right, Cody Gakpo. I thought this was the role. This was the one that I think gets the most out of Cody Gakpo. That link between midfield and attack. He was brilliant in that role. I think him and Ryan Gravenberch are certainly the two best that we have in the club of linking up play, protecting the ball, manipulating their bodies into areas. I loved it. I thought it was very good from him today. Still working back. I still think there's a bit more to come from him, but today, very solid. Going to give him a score of 7 out of 10. Moving on to Diogo Jota, Assassin. Really good. Really, really good. Very lively. And I mentioned it in the first half as well, before he scored his worldly goal from the edge of the box. He was full of it today, full of energy, full of guile, full of creativity, really clever runs, really clever movement, and that was vintage Diogo Jota today. So the Assassin gets himself a score of 8 out of 10, and what a strike for the goal. He's in fine goal scoring form. More of that, please, Diogo. Mohamed Salah, look, the records continue to tumble, and I've got more for you today. 200 Premier League goals up now for Mohamed Salah. 6 home games in a row at the start of a season he scored. It's only himself, Thierry Henry, Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer who all have that record. And there's another record that I can't remember off the top of my head that he shares with Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry as well. What can you say? 2 goals from Mo today, one of them a collector's item, a Mohamed Salah header. Had me confused. I didn't know if he didn't score it or it was being ruled out, because it was weird, right? He scored and then kind of just waited. I don't know what was going on, but either way, I'm happy, and that's much, much more like Mo. Giving him a score 9 out of 10. He was your Anfield Agenda man of the match. He's just behind Verge for me, but much, much better from the great man. Darwin Núñez, so unlucky. Like, this much offside for the first one that was ruled out. The second one, the overhead kick, he was definitely off, but again, a good performance. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was an assist today for Darwin as well. I thought he was really good. Really, really troublesome to that Brentford defence. Gonna give him a score of 8 out of 10. And I'm glad that people are behind him. I'm glad that we accept that Darwin is a flawed genius, but that's why we love him, right? So 8 out of 10, I think, today for Darwin, and can't wait for him to be back after the international break. Lucho came off the bench, and look, this week was about one thing and one thing only for Luis Diaz and his family. That is him being reunited with his father. It's a beautiful thing. We're glad it happened. Beautiful moment for him to come off the bench and get that ovation today from Anfield as well. And look, he didn't really have much to do when he came on, but he was on there playing with a smile on his face, and for that reason I'll give him a 7. Moving on to Harvey Elliott. I actually felt Harvey Elliott was very unfortunate not to start the game today. I thought he did, probably one of the few players who could take some credit from the performance in Toulouse. And when he came on today, he does what he does. He makes everything efficient. He moves the ball around, he protects the ball, he pops up in the right areas. He's just a clever young football player. Score of 7 out of 10 as well for Harvey Elliott. Moving on to Jarrell Kwanzaa, and I've got to be honest with you, I barely even remember Jarrell Kwanzaa being brought on. I was probably just too caught up in celebrating at that time. But I tell you one thing, this kid has a bright future ahead of him. Some shouts from him to maybe play at left back. I'm not sure I'm against it either. If we shift to a back 3 in possession, you've got Kwanzaa left, Van Dijk and Kanade. I'm not against that, but Jarrell Kwanzaa, again, great performance from him in a little cameo role. I say great performance, I don't really remember it, so I gave him a 6, but let's just assume it was a great performance because everybody was great today. McConnell, James McConnell, I was so happy to see him come on, and my God, does he look like a kid. I mean that in a complimentary way, because playing for Liverpool first team, that's no mean feat. And he's another one that's broken through from pre-season this year and made his way into the first team. Just on the bench today, there was only one outfield player on that bench over the age of 20, and that was Lucho Diaz. So very, very inexperienced bench. We're going to give him a score of 6 out of 10. And finally, but definitely not least, Mr. Jurgen Klopp, your manager. I thought he was impeccable today in his decision making, in his team selection, in the way he set the boys up, in how motivated he had them. They were at it from the off. It never looked like that game was in doubt for me. So I'm going to give Jurgen a score of 8 out of 10. And as always, we want to know your thoughts in the comment section. My friends, do hit that subscribe button. We are very close to 227. I will be back tomorrow night at 8:30 for another Anfield Agenda late night agenda. The international break is upon us, but we'll get through it together. Let us know your thoughts on our scores. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.